not my favorite thing to see when I come out here. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a big vulture circling the chicks. I haven't seen a vulture take a chick before, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Right now all the chicks are in the shade hanging out. But when you see the vulture flying around, not ideal. Kind of want to do a little quick check and see what's happening around your area, just to make sure everybody's okay when that happens, when you walk outside and see that. But anyway, Walnut Hill Farm coming at you. Yesterday we kind of got after it with the tool cap, made some quick work of this. Used to be fence here, if you recall. There was a big fence basically all the way from that post there with the pigs, and it went all the way over to this concrete here. Actually, it went to about right there with some wood to the concrete, and then some hog panels, and a bunch of extra hog panels are set up over there, if you remember from some other videos. So we just kind of ripped as much of it out as I could, and then what I had here was a rock pile, concrete and other things that had been fallen from up there or just were in the ground. And it looks like I still need to come through here with the bucket again and pick some of this stuff up. There's definitely still some rocks in here that I'd like to get out, but it was really kind of wet yesterday and stuff, so I didn't get too crazy. See, like there's a piece of concrete right there, and before I bring the brush hog in here and clean this out, we want to kind of come in and take out all the big stuff, and then I can brush hog this. And I'm not entirely sure if this is just going to be grass or what, but it does allow us a little bit more freedom in developing where our actual fence lines are going to go, and how we want to like pen off the rest of the animals. Currently right now we don't have any pigs on the property, so like this whole pasture paddock here is just kind of doing its own thing. And something I don't know if I've talked about this in a video yet, our main market is the farmer's market for our pork. The market runs from May, so now, to October. What that means essentially is I need to have pork available from May to October. Well, the thing with that is that I would really like to have pigs right now. A couple of things that I wanted to touch base on is, so like the market that we're at, the farmers market, we're really happy to be part of it. It's been really good for us. We've been able to reach a lot of clients and to sell a lot of our product, which is excellent. The downside of the market is that it is May to October. I guess that's not the market's fault, because where we live, that's the necessity. People want to get out in the Midwest during the summer months. That just makes sense. And it's nice weather, and people like to enjoy it as much as they can before we are basically like shut in come like November, December. So all of that is to say what I was referring to earlier with the pigs. So we don't have any pigs right now. And the reason for that is because if I did have pigs on the ground right now, which I would love to do, I would love to have pigs on the ground. Having pigs on the ground right now would be great for the soil, the grass health, the pasture health, all that stuff. The problem would be that they would be ready. They have such a short cycle that if we were to have pigs on the ground today, let's say, I picked them up from the breeder, they're 8 weeks old today. That means that they're going to need to be butchered in about December. I get about 6 months out of them on my farm. So they're about 8 months old when we send them to the processor. Now, the problem with that would be, okay, it's almost the first week in June. So let's just pretend let's for math's sake, all of June, all of July, all of August, September, October, all of November. Early December would be my like earliest butcher date. I could maybe push it to the end of December because it's going to be cold. It takes a little bit longer to finish up, maybe something like that. But then that means I'm waiting and I'm sitting on pigs for 5 months before the market. Personally, that's not a problem for me. I will eat frozen meat that has been processed and frozen properly and hasn't been, freezer burned or any puncture in it's vacuum sealed. It should freeze and be good for quite a while, up to a year. Well, people that want to purchase products, they want it as new as possible. Okay, so if they see that there's a December of 24 on the package and it's May of 25, they're going to be, what does that mean? So you've had this for almost 6 months in your freezer? Especially, let's say I get into June of next year. That means it's only been 6 months frozen. Or July. Like I said, the market goes May to October. So I'm coming up on October 25. Pigs that were butchered in December of 24, that's 10 months. Even though freezing should really extend its shelf life quite a bit, from a consumer perspective, even at the farmer's market, it is a hard educational point to let folks know that it's okay to eat meat that was frozen 3, 4, 6, 8 months ago, right? And I have to be more comfortable educating people, and I have to be more comfortable selling that product. Because even me, when I'm loading up my cooler, I'll see December 23 on it. I'm like, I don't know if I should bring that one. Those are just, it's only 3 months because the other pigs I got were butchered March of 24. So that's kind of the cadence I want to be on, is the March timeline, which means I need to get pigs like end of July, August, beginning of August. So they'd be 2 months old already. So all of August, September, October, November, December, and then January, February, right, is kind of when we would want to be butchering, which then means I have, March, April, just 2 months before market starts, and hopefully only about 8 months before market ends, or 9 months before market ends. That's kind of the process, or the thought, like the cycle, which means I have to raise pigs during the winter time, right? So they'll get August, September, October, 3 months on pasture. But that's not helping the pasture now, number one. Number two, is not helping my feed costs, because in November, December, January, I'm solely on the feed that I have available to them. It's a difficult position to be in. It's a hard cycle to be on. It would be kind of nice if I could maybe get some like in January. They're just starting, so that means they'd have to be born in November. So all of November, all of December, I get them beginning of January. Then like in June, July, I can process them. And then they can, like real fresh, to the market. And then I'd have to be on like maybe I need to do that where I'm on a 2 months or a 2 batch type situation, where the first batch is done end of the year and the second batch is done middle of the year. All right, so earlier I took all these down. We had the hay feeders up. Those are all down now, and they're all kind of parted out. All the screws should be out, and nails. Oh, I see one right there that's not done. But most of the screws and nails should be out. Now what I'm going to work on currently is digging out all of this and getting all of this cleaned up and get it out. I got to go find my respirator, get that put on. And then once that is all out, then I'm going to cut some of this up again. Cut most of this out, and I'm going to get it out as well, so I can clean behind here and make room for us to walk. Most of this is actually good wood, so I may keep it. And so I'm going to try and maybe store some of this in the machine shed or the Quonset, because a lot of these 2x and 2x6s, they're like attached at the bottom only, which is rotted, but that's still like 36 inches of good wood that I might be able to use in my new fencing setup. And so I also been looking at posts like this online and at different manufacturers. We're going to see what we can find to install here. I need to watch a couple more videos on how to like dig out concrete, how to pour a footing, how to do all that stuff so that I can replace these poles safely. But right now, we're just going to get all this dug. I have the toolkit over here. I've got the bucket on it. We're going to fill up the bucket, and then we're going to just go dump this over in my compost area that I have. And then we're going to probably be done for the day. Probably going to take me a couple hours to get this cleaned out and see what we're working with. And once that's done, then we can try and extract all the wood from inside here and clean it up some more. So I'm probably not going to film any of it because it's a lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And with the wheelbarrow into the bucket, wheelbarrow to the bucket, wheelbarrow to the bucket, then the bucket to the thing in the back. So there's a lot of up, down, and moving around. So we're just going to go get the respirator so that I can breathe in here. I was in here the other day and my eyes were just itchy. I couldn't breathe really well. Just all this dust and stuff isn't good for me. I thought I had the respirator in the toolkit. But lo and behold, oh, here it is. It's dirty as heck, but I do have it. So, probably use a Clorox wipe quick to wipe it out while I kind of get these ready, and then once that's dried, I can put it on and go from there.